Hello, and welcome to day 4 of the Peace, Mind, and Body Yoga Challenge. We have one more section left in the yin sequence, so I thought to offer a little extra challenge today. Why not combine the first 2 sections and to make it into one video and have a 30-minute practice today? Remember, take your time with this. Yoga is about connecting to yourself. So do the flow how you feel your body needs. If you would like to use any props, you are more than welcome to use a block, pillow, or a blanket. We will go ahead and get started in corpse pose, laying flat on your mat, legs straight out in front of you. You can have the heels of your feet together, knees open wide, or feet planted flat on the mat, hip distance apart. Placing your arms by your side, palms up for receiving, or facing down for grounding. Or you can place one hand over your belly and the other over your chest. And as you make your way onto the mat, closing your eyes, starting to connect with yourself. Feeling your body slowly relax and loosen up as you bring your attention to the current moment. Starting to slow down your breathing, taking an inhale in through the nose as your belly rises, and exhaling through the nose as you pull your stomach in. Continuing this breath, trying to bring yourself in this current moment of stillness. If you would like to send an intention, I give you the space to do so right now. And if you do not have an intention, focus on gratitude, being thankful with all that's going on in the world right now. We're thankful that we have another day, that some of us have roofs over our head. We are grateful for the things that we have, that we can somewhat control. Letting go of the things that we cannot control and just focusing on the moment and being present. Taking a few deep belly breathings. Exhaling all the air out, taking a deep inhale in through the nose, part the lips and exhale out through the mouth. Inhaling in through the nose, part the lips and exhale slowly out through the mouth. Continuing this breath on your own. Inhaling and exhaling any toxicities, anything you do not want with you. And on your next inhale, inhaling your arms up overhead and extending your legs out if you took a leg variation. Giving yourself a nice good morning or good evening stretch. Keeping your hips flat on the mat, taking your legs out to the right side and taking your upper body over to the right side of the mat, creating a C or a banana shape with your body. Pressing the left outer hip to the mat, creating a stretch in the left outer body. Making sure you're relaxing your muscles, relaxing your ankles, letting your body fall heavy into this position, getting a deep stretch. trying to ease your mind, letting go of any thoughts or anything that is trying to prevent you from being in this moment. Inhaling your arms and legs back to center. Sending your legs to the left side of the mat, keeping your hips flat. Then sending your upper body to the left side of the mat, making sure that your hips are flat and you're feeling a stretch in the right side body. Making sure you're breathing, inhaling in through the nose and exhaling through the nose or out the mouth, helping to relax your mind and your muscles so that you can feel a deeper stretch. Connecting with your breathing. And on your next inhale, bringing your legs and your arms back to center. Taking another good morning or good evening stretch. You can roll your wrists and your ankles out a little bit. Making sure you're rotating them in both directions. And when you're ready, pull your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice big hug. You can rock slowly left and right, giving your spine a nice little massage. Placing your arms out to a T shape and dropping your knees to the right side of the mat, making sure that both shoulders are flat. Gaze can be to the left side of the room. If you are not able to keep your shoulders flat, using a prop to prop your knees up to give you a little extra support. Making sure you're breathing, letting your body relax, release any tension, feeling the stretch in your back. Making sure you're focusing on yourself. If you have any thoughts that come to mind, acknowledge them. And if you do not want them with you, exhale that thought out of your mind. Inhaling your knees up to center. Then dropping your knees to the left side of the mat, making sure that both shoulders are flat. Gaze to the right side of the room. Checking in with your body. Seeing if you notice a difference between the left and the right side. And on your next inhale, bring your legs back up to center, pulling them into your chest one more time, lifting your head to your knees to give a deeper stretch throughout the neck and the spine. And when you're ready, placing your hands on your hamstrings and slowly rocking up into an easy seat position. And as you are in your easy seat, removing any excess flesh underneath the sit bones. You can do some shoulder rotations, rotating them forward, one shoulder at a time, or together. Moving out any kinks you may have. Rotating them the opposite direction. And on the last rotation, pulling your shoulders all the way back and down your spine out of your ears. Taking your gaze to the right side of the room, looking over your shoulder. Feeling the stretch in the left side of the neck. Making sure you're sitting up tall. Relaxing your shoulders. Inhaling your neck back to center. And taking your gaze to the left side, looking over your left shoulder. Feeling a stretch in the right side of the neck. Inhaling your neck back to center and bringing your chin down to your chest, letting your head hang heavy. Feeling the stretch in your neck, possibly all the way down your back towards your lower back. If you would like to do some neck rolls, you can rock your head from left and right, stopping if you feel any tightness, giving that space a little bit extra love. Swinging your head to the right side, bringing your ear to your right shoulder, making sure you're pulling your left shoulder down to create a stretch in the left side of your neck. If you would like a deeper stretch, taking your left hand and placing it on the mat or wrapping it behind your back. On an exhale, releasing your head and swinging it to the left side, letting your left ear touch your left shoulder, and pulling your right shoulder down, getting a stretch. If you would like a little bit deeper, placing your right hand onto the mat or wrapping it around your back, making sure you're pulling your shoulders down. Releasing your arm and bringing your head up to center. Taking a deep inhale in through the nose and an audible exhale out through the mouth. Inhaling and sweeping your arms up above your head. Taking your left hand and placing it on your right knee. Taking your right hand and placing it behind you, creating a seated twist. Making sure you're twisting at your waist. Keeping your hips flat on the mat. Making sure you're not tilting your pelvis forward. And making sure you're twisting in an upright position. Breathing through the stretch. And on your next inhale, inhaling your arms up overhead, releasing the twist. And exhaling, placing your right hand on your left knee and taking your left hand and dropping it behind you, creating a seated twist towards the left. Making sure you're not pulling on the knee, just using it as support while you twist. Inhaling your arms up overhead and untwisting. Placing your arms behind you, clasping your hands. And on an inhale, pulling your shoulders back, pressing your chest out, slightly lifting your gaze. And on an exhale, forward fold. Keeping your hands together. Making sure you're hinging at your waist. Your hips are flat on the mat. If you need a prop, you can use your prop by placing it either in your lap or in front of your legs. Letting your head hang heavy, creating a deeper stretch in the lower back. And on your next inhale, inhaling up, releasing your hands. Extending your left leg out in front of you. Taking your right foot and placing it on the inside of your left thigh or on the inside of your shin. Inhaling your arms up overhead. Rotating your torso so that it's parallel to the left leg. Exhaling down, maintaining a flat back until you can no longer go down anymore, then releasing your head. If you need a little extra support, you can take your prop and place it on your thigh and forward fold over the prop. Making sure you're not dipping into your hip. You're even on both sit bones. Letting your body release. Every inhale, lifting up slightly. And on your exhale, releasing down a little bit deeper. Inhaling up to center, placing your right shoulder behind you and sweeping your left arm up overhead, pressing your hips up into a modified wild thing. Letting your left arm and your head hang heavy. And on an exhale, releasing down to the mat. Switching out your legs, right leg straight out in front of you. Left foot on your inner right thigh or placing it on your inner shin. Inhaling your arms up overhead, rotating your torso to be parallel to the right leg, and exhaling, forward fold, Janu. Breathing into the stretch. Feeling it in your lower back, in your hips. And making sure you're on your both sit bones, you're not dipping into your right hip. Toes pointed to the ceiling. And on an inhale, placing your left hand behind you and sweeping your right arm up overhead, pressing your hips up into a modified wild thing. Letting your head hang heavy. And exhaling back down to the mat. Bringing your right leg to the left leg and crossing them over and rolling over into a tabletop position. Making sure your shoulders are over your wrists, hips over your knees. Making sure your back is straight, tops of the feet flat on the mat. And on an inhale, dropping the belly, pressing into the hands, slightly lifting your gaze, pulling your shoulders back into cow. Making sure you're breathing, pressing firmly into the mat, creating an arch in your back. And on an exhale, pressing into the mat, pulling your back up towards the ceiling, pulling in your tailbone into cat. Letting your head release. And on an inhale, dropping your belly down into cow. And on an exhale, pressing and curling your back up into a cat. Continuing this movement on your own breath. You can take a few hip rolls, moving your hips left and right, loosening up the hips, releasing any tightness that you may have. And when you are ready, meet in a tabletop position. Taking your right hand and sweeping it, opening up towards the right side. Making sure that your shoulders are stacked above each other. Exhale and thread your right hand in between your left hand and your left knee, dropping your right cheek onto the mat. Extending your left arm overhead. If you would like a deeper stretch, you can take your left hand and wrapping it around your back, grabbing your right thigh. Breathing into the stretch, letting go of any tension. Feeling the stretch in your back and in your shoulder. If you need a little extra support, you can use your prop and place it underneath your cheek. Releasing your hand if you took a bind, and dropping your hand right next to your face, pressing into your left hand and unthreading your right arm up, back over, opening to the right side, creating a counter stretch, and placing the right hand back onto the mat. Taking your left hand and sweeping it, opening up to the left side. Exhaling down, threading your left hand in between your right hand and your right knee, placing your left cheek onto the mat. Extending your right arm out overhead, or taking the alternative bind. Relaxing your arms, sinking into the position to get a nice, deep back stretch. Releasing any bind that you may have taken and placing the right hand right in front of your face, pressing up and unthreading the left hand and extending it, opening up to the left side. And on an exhale, releasing your left hand back onto the mat. Opening up your knees with distance of the mat, big toes touching and pressing your hips down to meet your feet. Extending your arms out overhead, pressing into your hands to push your hips back into child's pose, letting your stomach hang in between your thighs. Feeling the stretch in your hips. We tend to hold a lot of stress and tension in our hips. So allowing your body to relax will help release a lot of tension that you may have. Making sure you're breathing. Every exhale, trying to sink a little bit deeper into the mat. Circling back to your intention that you set at the beginning of this session. And if you did not have an intention, coming back to gratitude and being thankful. being thankful that you took the time out to give yourself what your body needed, what your mind needed, and remembering that you can give your body this kind of attention anytime you want. You just have to sit and make the time for it. It does not have to be this long, but just giving your moment a chance to be still, collecting your thoughts, may be all you need.